if you haven't heard of or haven't used ClickDimensions before, it is a fantastic marketing tool. I've used it previously. I was a marketing manager for a few years, and ClickDimensions was the tool that we used. We used it to collect information about new leads, for contacts to fill out forms online. We used it for RSS subscription, so for blogs, for people to get updates when we were posting stuff on our website. We used it for surveys, we used it for events, we used it for all kinds of things. So one of the things that I've come across recently is the need to kind of change the ClickDimensions process slightly. So out of the box, when somebody fills out what's called a web form, so if we go to web content, we've got a basic web form. So if we open it up, we are asking for some information. We're basically asking for first name, last name, email, phone number, company name, and some details about the request. We've also got a hidden field on there for topic that we'll use to actually put in the topic or the subject of the lead. So what will happen by default is when the form is filled out, ClickDimensions will check to see if the email address that's on that form already exists within your Dynamics 365 CE environment. If it does, it will take that submission, it will be turned into what's called a posted form, and it will link that to the existing lead or the existing contact record. If that email address does not exist, then depending on what we've got set up, if we go back to the web form, what we've got is what are you going to create a new visitor as, a lead or a contact. So what will happen is if the email address isn't already in the system, it will create a new lead in this case and link that posted form to the lead record. Now I recently worked with a customer that wanted to change slightly and have every single time a specific form was filled out, that would create a new lead. The only time that it wouldn't is if the submission that came through was actually a first time submission for someone, in which case we didn't need to have a second one created. So how can we go about achieving this? Alright, so we're going to use Flow to actually intercept and decide what to do. But what we're going to do first of all is on the posted form entity. If I go to, I've got a new form that I've created, a Dynamics form, and we've added in a new tab called lead creation, and on there we have a lead type created, which I've locked all of these, so the only way these would be populated is with the Microsoft Flow process we're going to run. But we're going to say, is this a new lead? In other words, this is the first time this person has ever submitted anything through our website. The email address did not already exist. Or is this a brand new sales lead, meaning they were already in the system, but we want to treat this submission as a lead for the sales team to follow up with. The only reason for this is just so that we could then use some charts to review the number of sales leads compared with the number of the marketing leads, new leads, that kind of thing. Then what we've got is two fields that are both two options, yes, no. New lead created, yes, new lead created, no. And then we've also got a date for the new lead and a date for the sales lead. So we can see here actually we've already got one populated. So the purpose of this is just so that when we run this Microsoft Flow, if someone was to come and look at this posted form, they'd be able to see what actually happened with it. Okay. All right, so let's go into our flow. And let's go ahead and we will edit this. Alright, so the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at triggering this when a new posted form is created. Alright, so that's the first step. So the posted form comes in, somebody fills out our form online. Then what we're going to do is we're going to use a wait condition. Alright, so this is going to be, if we just go ahead, I'll show you which one to select. We just pretend like we're going to add in an action, and let's scroll down here. We are going to use initialize variable is going to be the action. So if we click on that, we can see it's got these three fields for us to fill out here, just like we've got on here. So let's just go ahead and delete that. We don't need it. Alright, so the initialize variable. So the first thing is the name. You can call it whatever you want to call it. I've just got this in as a wait condition. The type is going to be string. And the value, we're going to do an expression, and we're going to have add seconds, and then we're basically adding seconds to the current date and time. So UTC now is right now, and then we've got 10 is the number of seconds that we're going to add. So the reason to add these 10 seconds is because when the form is first filled out and ClickDimensions is searching to see if that email address already exists in the system, the posted form, it's got all of the values, all of the fields that are filled out, and those are all posted fields, and all of those records have to be then created in the system as well. And that can take a little bit of time. I mean, we're talking still seconds, but this waiting allows it for everything to have been completed in the system, so that we know anything we do further on, any checking, any validation, we're going to have all of the accurate records that have been created in the system. So that's this wait condition. Then what we're doing is we are basically doing a delay until action, and the delay until, we are using that wait condition. So we can see here we've got that, and we just put that in the field right here, and that is basically saying from current time right now, let's wait 10 seconds. So we wait. Then once we've waited, we use a list records action step from the Common Data Service connector, and what we're doing now is we are looking for all of the posted fields, and we've got a filter query that is basically saying let's get all posted field records where the posted form ID value equals the posted form ID from the trigger, so from the very initial step up here. And then what we're also doing is, I don't want to pull back any of those records that are null. In other words, the value hasn't been filled out. If all of the fields on your form are required, that shouldn't matter, but if you've got some that are not required, we don't want to pull them back if they've got nothing in there. Alright, so that's what we're doing next. We are listing the posted fields. Now, if you think about when you have created your ClickDimensions form, if I go ahead and just open one of these fields, you'll be aware that you've got that mapping capability. Now, we can then map and say when somebody fills out the first name field on our web form, that will then map into the first name field on the lead or the first name field on the contact. Now that's fine if it's the very first time that that has been filled out, because although you might set up and say override in CRM, it's not likely that you always want to override the name, override the email, and so on. So typically you would have the name populated and then not override it every single time. So the mapping only happens once when it's a brand new record that's created. So now what we need to do is we need to do our mapping within the flow, so that then we can actually use those values later on if we do determine that we need to create a new lead record. So here's what we're going to do. For every single field that is on our form, we're going to do 2 steps. The first step is going to be an initialize variable step. So if again I go to add an action, it's going to be one of the built-in ones, a data operations one. Sorry, no, we're doing filter array, apologies. So we're going to do filter array, and the filter array basically allows us to filter all of the records that have come back in this list posted field step. So we're going to do a filter array step and then a compose step for each of our fields on the form. Alright, so let's just get rid of this again. So our filter array step, first of all, we are basically putting in here the value from the list posted field step. So that's the first thing in the from. Then we are doing our filter and basically saying if the label is equal to first name, whatever the label is that you've put on your form field. Okay, so that's the first thing. We're going to get that first name, and then what we need to do is we need to do an expression that basically says get the very first value that comes back from within that array that we've just filtered. Now, because there's only going to be one question where the label equals first name, then that's great. We're just basically saying, all right, we'll get the first one that it comes up with, and that's going to be the only one. And we're basically saying get the CDI, which is the ClickDimensions prefix, and then we're getting the value. Now you'll see that we've got get first name here, and that has to be the exact same thing that you've named this step. So make sure that you name it something logical and preferably something short as well, because you don't have to be typing out too much. So we're going to do the same thing for every single one of the fields. So we'll do again value, and then the label is equal to last name. And then again, we'll do our expression to go ahead and get the first record that it comes back with from our get last name step, and then we get the value from that. So we can see there we've got quite a few steps, and yes, it is a pain, but that's the way that we're going to do it, to set all of that up so that we can get those values out of the form. Now the next thing that we're going to do is you could have a posted form created, and that could be linked to a contact. If it's linked to a contact, in this scenario we know that we immediately want to have a lead created because that contact's already been in the system for a while. We know that it's not a brand new lead that's being created. So if the contact, we're basically doing contact is not equal to null. So that means that if it's not equal to null, there must be something in there. So that is our yes column here from that condition. So if it's met, there must be a contact. So we're going to first of all get the contact from the posted form. So that is our get record from the CDS connector. Then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new lead from the contact. So the first thing is we've got our entity name of lead. Here is where we're going to be using all of those outputs that we created. And this is why it's important to actually name those outputs. So if I go ahead and type in output, we'll see there that there's the topic value, the details value, company name, and so on. So we're going to take those and then populate them into the correct fields. For the email, we can just use that directly from the contact record because that's why it was matched on that email address. So we know that that is correct. So we're going to pull that in directly from the contact record. Now what we want to do is, because we're creating a new lead, we want to take the posted form and we actually want to go ahead and update it with the new lead that we've just created. So if I scroll down, we're basically taking that lead from the create new lead from contact step that we've just created so that it links it to the correct new lead. The other thing is, based on those few new fields that I showed that I'd added, I'm setting this as a sales lead. This is not a brand new lead that was created. There was already a contact, so this is actually a new sales lead. And then what we're doing is we're setting the sales lead created field to yes, and we're putting the sales lead date as an expression, which is just the simple UTC now, so that it puts the current date and time in there. Now once we've done that, I don't know if you've seen before, but on all of the posted fields, they also have a lead field on those. So we want to also go ahead and we want to get all the posted fields from the posted form, because remember previously what we did is we got all the posted fields from the posted form, but also we put a filter in to say we'll only bring the back of their if they have a value in there. This time we want all of them regardless of whether they were filled out or not. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that expression that says the posted form ID value equals the posted form from our original trigger step. So then we basically want to update all of the posted fields that are related to that specific posted form, and we're going to set that lead that was created and we're going to populate that. That means that you don't have a posted form that's linked to the correct new lead, but all of the related posted fields underneath it are still related to the previous record, and that's not what we want. We want to make sure that it's nice and clean and everything's linked correctly. Now we look down the no side. So in other words, the contact field on the posted form was not populated. So therefore it must have a lead on it, because we've basically said if the lead wasn't already in the system with an email address, we're going to create a new one. So regardless, that lead field will have something in there. So we're going to do the get record step, and we're going to get the lead from the original trigger body step. Then again, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do what we did previously, where we're getting all of the posted, what we're going to do here is we're going to get the posted forms that are linked to that lead. And that is going to be a filter query to find the CDI lead ID value, and that will equal the lead in the previous get lead step. Now, the reason for getting the number or getting all of the posted forms and listing those, we're going to do a count of all of those posted forms, and I'll show you why in just a moment, because this will allow us to figure out if this was a brand new lead that was created for the very first time, or if this posted form was created and actually linked to a lead that already existed. So to do this, what we're doing is we've got an expression, and this expression is basically letting us take all of the posted forms that were found, and it's going to count the length. In other words, it's going to count the number of those that exist based on the value of each of those. So all of the posted forms, they've got a value. It's going to count the number of those to give us the actual number of posted forms. Then what we're going to do is we're going to, and these are all compose steps. So the next thing we're going to put in the created on date of the posted form, and then we're going to get the created on date of the lead, because what we're going to do is we're going to compare those two dates. So now we have a condition, and this is where we use those 3 compose steps to check if a new lead should be created. So we're going to look at the lead created on date and see if it's equal to the posted form created on date, and that lead only has 1 posted form. If it has more than 1, then we know that we want to create a brand new lead, because it can't be the first time that this was created. In other words, you've got somebody that's filled out a form before, then they filled out another one, they've got 2, we actually want to take one of those and put it in as a new lead. Now, the output is pretty simple, so we're basically that output of the number of posted forms, so that count number of posted forms, we're using that output, and we're saying is equal to 1. The 2 dates, because the dates are stored as date and time down to second or millisecond, I believe. So what we need to do is we need to format the date and time of each of those dates that we've got in the compose steps, and we're going to format them to just say year, month and date, a day, so that they're exactly the same format, and we can do a simple comparison to see if they equal one another. If this is yes, in other words, if these 2 conditions are met, then this was a brand new lead that was created. What we're going to do is one thing, we're going to update that posted form record, and we're going to set that lead type created to new lead. We're going to set the new lead created to yes, and the new lead date we're going to use UTC now to say that this was the one when it was created. Alright, so that's all we're going to do on that side. If no, then what we're going to do, this means we need to create a new lead, and we're pretty much going to follow the same steps as we did previously, where we're using all of those outputs to go ahead and populate the different fields. Then we're going to link the posted form to the new lead, and at the same time we're going to set this as a sales lead, and sales lead created yes, and then UTC now. And then again we're going to link those posted fields that are linked to the posted form and relink them to our new lead. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's actually fill out a form. So I'm going to go ahead and we will get the link for the form. We'll just go ahead and fill this out. Okay, so we fill out the form, we'll go ahead and submit that. Now, again, remember when this form is submitted, what it's doing is it's, excuse me, is it's looking through to see, well, does that email address already exist? And I know that I've used that email address several times, so we should see in a moment that this is running. Yep, so we have a new instance of the flow that is running. We can see there we've got our green ticks to start with. That's fantastic, and it's run successfully. So it managed to get the poster form that's created. It waited for 10 seconds, listed the posted fields, then we got all of the values. So we can see it's got Jane as the first name, it's got Doe as the last name, and so on. So we've got all of those. Then we checked to see if the link is linked to the contact. It wasn't, so we got a lead and we got the posted forms. We counted the number of posted forms. The number of posted forms was 2, so that tells us that the lead already existed in the system. We got the posted form created date, and we got the posted form, the lead created date. Then we did our expression, and that basically meant that we needed, because there was more than one posted form and because the lead was not created on the same day as the posted form, we are now going to go ahead and create the new lead, link the posted form to the lead, and then get all of the posted fields and then link all of the posted fields. So if we now go ahead and look at our posted forms, here is the one that was just created. And there we can see that this was a sales lead created. This was the date and the time, so we can always come back to our posted form and know this. And then if we go back, we can go into Jane Doe and we know that we've got a new version of that lead record for someone in sales to go through and complete. Now, this process is not going to be right for everyone, and again, like I said, ClickDimensions is a fantastic tool, and for the most part, the standard process will work. However, if for some specific forms you want to get around that, and you want to make sure that there is a new lead created every single time, regardless of if that email address already exists in the system, this is how you can do it. You might then also want to go ahead and make some changes in terms of that existing contact field and that existing account field. Maybe you set those as required when this process has gone through, because you don't want to then create a new contact or a new account. You might even populate those already from the records that came through on the existing lead. So there's different ways that you can go ahead and achieve it and expand out this process. But hopefully this helps. For some of you, this may be something that you're looking to achieve. So let me know what you think. Put some comments below.
Hi, I'm Megan Walker. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you learned something from it. If you don't want to miss out on any other content, you can go ahead and click on my face below to subscribe. And if you want to watch the next video, you can do that by clicking over here and go ahead and get started. Thanks again.